Hello, Doreen. This is my response to your video. You commented a lot on Saudi Arabia. You kind of focused there. I mean, and that was the focus of the question. You asked Saudi Arabia and in general the Middle East. Um, and you seem to have some unique personal experience with Saudi Arabia, which is cool. It gives good insight. So thanks for that. What I would say, uh, and some of what you said about our relations, the question that kept coming in my mind was to what end? And I mean, towards the end of your video, you said, I think the US does it because they see development. But okay, we see development of what? What is it that we want? Do we just want military bases? Do we just want oil? I mean, of course, we want those things. We have those economic partnerships for a reason. Of course, those are beneficial to us. Um, but when you expand outside of Saudi Arabia and you kind of see that although all the things you pointed out are 100% true and they're great insights, but in situations like the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, you would think or hope that such an ally in the region, and I know that you weren't trying to say that they're a big ally like Britain, but they're certainly a strong relationship in the region. And, they're not as close as Israel or Britain or something like that, but they're certainly a strong relation. So you would think that somebody with that strong relationship would try to help the U.S., which is the outsider here, sort of understand some of the conflicts that the U.S. ends up involving itself in. Iraq was its own situation, but now we've got Libya, and we've got, in the 80s you had Lebanon, and you've always got the Palestinian Israeli conflict, and you would think that the center, to me, what I mean, in all my studies, all my research, Saudi Arabia really is kind of the heart of Islam. It's the heart of the Islamic community. Of course, it's where the whole, three of the most holy sites is on the Arabian Peninsula, uh, and so you would think that they would try to help the U.S. not bumble into some of these things we bumble into that gets us in a mess. I mean, we Saudi Arabia backed us up on the support of Kuwait. I mean, kind of because in the Persian Gulf War in the early '90s, kind of because they knew that if Saddam could move into Kuwait unchecked, Saudi Arabia was next on the list. So we came to their aid for our interest. I mean, of course, Saudi Arabia didn't necessarily ask for our help. I mean, we saw our oil supplies getting cut off, so we moved to protect our interests, and that's what the U.S. should always do. But I just wonder what it is we're doing. That's the question I keep asking. Why are we in the Middle East if not just for oil? I mean, there's no. It's not a bipolar world anymore. We don't have to worry about somebody else coming in buying all the oil. We can just buy it, and we don't have to have all this military resources committed to it. Okay, and it's a security risk, so maybe we have some military resources, but we seem to have an awful lot of military resources constantly committed to the Middle East. When once the wars in Afghanistan and Afghanistan winds down, we're not really actively involved in any conflict in the region, with the exception of the piracy operations off of the coast of Yemen and then uh, the Gulf of Oman. So those are just some observations I had on your post. Thanks. I really appreciate the insight you gave. Thanks.